Episode 54, Are You Going to Kiss or Not? The Kiss of Lost Rationality. After the preparations were completed, the two lead actors walked over from the rest area. The moment Ningxi, dressed in a striking red and black heroic outfit, appeared. Guo Qixing didn't know if it was his own illusion, but Lu Tingxiao's seemingly vacant eyes suddenly seemed to focus. Ningxi glanced in the direction of Lu Jingli and Lu Tingxiao from afar. Lu Jingli immediately gave her a secret signal, pointing to his own phone, indicating that his brother knew everything. Ningxi's gaze slowly moved to Lu Tingxiao. His eyes, like substantial entities, locked onto her with an aggressive look, like the gaze of a beast before the dry season and the hunting eyes of a predator. The clapboard sounded crisply, and Ningxi suddenly snapped back to reality, quickly adjusting her mindset to enter the scene. After a quarrel with Sun Huanqing, Meng Chang'e ran away angrily. As the sky darkened, Sun Huanqing, who couldn't find her, became increasingly anxious. Meng Chang'e had actually spotted Sun Huanqing long ago, but she deliberately did not show up, mischievously following behind him. She watched him becoming increasingly anxious for her, and his usually tough face revealed a rare glimpse of a daughter's expression. Ningxi portrayed the love-stricken girl's innocence, shyness, and beauty very convincingly. Finally, when Meng Chang'e couldn't bear to see Sun Huanqing so worried, she, wearing a ghost mask she had bought from a small stall, suddenly jumped behind him. She patted his shoulder, sounding proud and joyful. "Dr. Sun, are you looking for me?" Jiong was first stunned, then his face broke into wild joy. He hugged her excitedly. "Chang'e." Lu Jingli's first reaction was not to continue watching the scene but to look at his brother. Then he panicked and quickly tried to pry his brother's fingers apart. "Brother, be gentle. This cup is made of glass, not titanium alloy. Remember, this is just acting." Before he could finish his words, click, the teacup cracked. Lu Jingli looked up and saw Ningxi slowly removing the mask from her face. Her radiant eyes were full of affection as she looked at Jiong. Then, she leaned in, slowly approaching his lips. "It's over, it's over, it's over, it's over. We didn't prepare anything this time." Lu Jingli, covering his eyes with his hands, couldn't bear to look, but he couldn't resist opening a slit to sneak a peek. 1 second passed. 2 seconds passed. 3 seconds passed. 4 seconds passed. Oh? What's going on? 5 seconds later, Ningxi, who had not kissed yet, suddenly touched her forehead. "Sorry, I didn't get into the right state. Let's do it again." Ningxi actually NG'd. All the on-site staff, the two directors, and the producer were all shocked. But they could understand. Indeed, the aura of the big boss was too strong. Those who were watching from the sidelines felt immense pressure, let alone Ningxi. "It's okay, it's okay. We'll adjust the mood and do it again," Guo Qixing reassured. Xiao Tao quickly went over to hand Ningxi a bottle of mineral water. "Sister Shi, come on." Ningxi quickly gulped down the entire bottle. Jiong, on the side, glanced at her. "I didn't expect you to get stage fright." Ningxi's face turned extremely ugly. "Stop making sarcastic remarks. Your uncle is terrifying, and you know it. Try being stared at like that, and let's see if you can perform normally." Soon, the second take began. Meng Chang'e tapped on Sun Huanqing's shoulder from behind. "Dr. Sun, are you looking for me?" Sun Huanqing turned around and embraced her. "Chang'e." Guo Qixing, click. "Ningxi, pay attention to your expression. Why did you suddenly lose focus?" Ningxi, "Sorry." The third take began. Meng Chang'e, "Dr. Sun, are you looking for me?" Sun Huanqing, "Chang'e." Guo Qixing, click. "Ningxi, you stared at each other for too long. You have a maximum of 3 seconds to kiss, okay?" Ningxi, "Okay." The fourth take. The fifth take. In the end, Ningxi NG'd 6 times in a row. By the end of it, even Jiong was about to collapse. He paced back and forth in the dressing room, saying, "Damn it. My brother's heart is almost failing. Are you going to kiss or not? Can you be a bit faster?" Ningxi grabbed her hair. "Damn it. I'm almost having a heart attack. Can't you make your uncle leave? His gaze is like x-rays. Who the hell can kiss under that pressure?" Jiong sneered. "He came for you. What can I do to make him leave?" Ningxi threw away her wig. "Damn it. This is really frustrating." Cough. "Hey, pay attention to your image." Seeing Ningxi on the verge of losing control, Jiong reminded her speechlessly. It was evident that Ningxi was under immense pressure. He had never seen her so anxious before. From another perspective, it could be said that Lu Tingxiao's influence on her was extremely significant. Much larger than he had imagined. At least, there had never been anyone who could affect her acting state. At this moment, Guo Qixing, sweating profusely, rushed into the dressing room. He walked up to Ningxi and said with a serious tone, "Ningxi, what's going on with you today? Is Lu Tingxiao making you too nervous? Keep a calm mind. We didn't have any preparation today because no one knew the big boss would come. Don't be nervous at a time like this." Ningxi, with an apologetic look on her face, hung her head. "I'm sorry, director. I made it difficult for you." It's okay, it's okay. Actors often NG. Who would have known the big boss would come today? Everyone is nervous on set, afraid of making any mistakes. Do you want me to call your manager over?" Guo Qixing suggested. Ningxi shook her head. "No need. Don't trouble Sister Ziji. I can handle it. Please proceed, director." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." 3 minutes later, the 7th take began. Ningxi walked to the camera, gritting her teeth. She glared fiercely in Lu Tingxiao's direction, and he casually stirred the tea leaves with the lid, looking serene. This jerk was definitely doing it on purpose. The damn aura was even more brutal than hail. An absolute NG weapon. Chang'e. Jiong hugged Ningxi. Actually, his pressure was also immense. Every time he hugged Ningxi, he felt like his back was being pierced by thousands of arrows. Ningxi removed her mask, gazing affectionately at him for 3 seconds, and then slowly approached his lips. Everything was going smoothly until, just when she was about to succeed, that disturbing gaze behind her forcefully drove her out of the scene, making it impossible for her to kiss. Damn it! Ningxi's eyes flashed, and unexpectedly, she put the mask back on. The next second, she, wearing the mask, impulsively kissed Jiong Mai's lips. Under the corridor bridge, the lanterns illuminated the surroundings, the gentle breeze swayed, and behind the mask, a young girl kissed a surprised young man. This scene, unexpectedly, turned out to be both beautiful and heartwarming even with the direct kiss. Click. Cut. Guo Qixing reacted promptly and quickly called a halt. Not bad, not bad. Ningxi, your handling, half covered by the mask, is even better. Guo Qixing praised, and the other crew members also nodded in agreement. Director, are you satisfied? Ningxi forced a smile. Damn it. It was just a sweet kissing scene, not a heart-wrenching one. Yet, she was acting like she was drained. It was truly unbearable. The next second, her gaze involuntarily drifted in a certain direction. Across from her, the producer was chatting incessantly with Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao sat quietly, like a gloomy and cold corner of an ancient castle, existing there isolated from the world for countless years. Gloomy, lonely, with a heart-squeezing loneliness flowing in his eyes. Ningxi felt scorched by that gaze, hastily turned away. Sisshi, where are you going? To the restroom. Holding her phone, Ningxi quickly sent a WeChat message to Lu Jingli to inquire about the situation. Second young master, what on earth is your brother trying to do? Lu Jingli quickly replied, how would I know? Last night, when he saw the TV broadcast of the behind-the-scenes footage and your interview, he wasn't right. This morning, he saw the gossip about you two playing games together all night, and he directly cancelled the meeting to inspect the set. Did he reveal to you what he wants to do or any plans? Ningxi hurriedly asked. After all, knowing the enemy is the key to victory. Do you think my brother would tell me about such things? Then, did he show any signs of weirdness? Think carefully. Weirdness? It seems like there is one. After watching TV last night, he suddenly stared at a plate of shredded carrots coldly, and later, he told the butler not to serve this dish again. Isn't it strange? Even I, who is so smart, can't figure out what his weird behavior means. In Ningxi's mind, the words, pulling carrots, immediately appeared. It seemed that Lu Tingxiao completely misunderstood her relationship with Jiong Mai. After thinking for a moment, she typed another line, how is your brother's current state? Should be okay, right? Given that she had exhausted all her intelligence to come up with this idea of kissing through a mask. Okay? When you kissed him just now, I felt like I was in an ice cave 100,000 meters beneath the North Pole. Oh, by the way, little Cece, where are you? Be careful. My brother is currently out of my sight, and I don't know where he went. I guess he's coming to catch you. Be careful. As Ningxi finished reading Lu Jingli's last message, a shadow suddenly fell on her head. Following that, an overwhelming pressure swept over her. The next second, her waist tightened, and as the world spun around her, she was pushed into the nearby restroom. Accompanied by a bang, her back slammed heavily into the door, and before she could even cry out in pain, her voice was swallowed up by the scorching and crazy breath. In that moment, due to lack of oxygen, all that remained in Ningxi's hazy mind was a single thought. Damn it. That bastard Lu Jingli. He did it on purpose. Couldn't he just directly tell me the main point earlier? Lu Tingxiao had always appeared to her as a gentleman, reserved and courteous. However, this aggressive and even destructive kiss overturned all her previous perceptions. Her waist, tightly gripped, ached almost to the point of breaking. The taste of blood lingered in her mouth, lips bitten and sore. There was a sensation that her whole being would be devoured alive. Ugh. Lu. Whenever she attempted even the slightest resistance, his suppression intensified, like a despotic tyrant. The sudden pain in her neck made her frown deeply. The man in front of her had completely lost his sanity, becoming a stranger that unsettled her. Ningxi used the hand that had quietly freed itself to pull out the wooden hairpin from her head. Swiftly, she aimed the sharp end at the man's unprotected neck. Lu Tingxiao, if you don't calm down, don't blame me for helping you calm down. Lu Tingxiao's increasingly intense kisses froze on her collarbone. But after a moment, as if provoking and arrogant, he resumed kissing her lips, showing no signs of stopping. You? A deep sense of powerlessness surged within Ningxi. Did this guy have mind-reading abilities? Had he seen through her inability to harm him and taken advantage of it? Was he reluctant to let her go? A story she had read flashed in her mind, about a girl whose beloved turned into a beast due to a curse. Despite this, the girl never abandoned him. She even fed him with her own blood to prevent him from harming the people in the village, ultimately becoming hunted herself. At that time, after finishing the story, she thought the girl was simply stupid. But now, she had become that stupid girl herself. Lu Tingxiao's kiss lingered repeatedly on her sensitive earlobes. Finally, Ningxi found a gap to speak urgently. Lu Tingxiao, have you forgotten what you promised me? Or are you going back on your word? Hearing her voice, the man seemed to gradually regain clarity. After a brief pause, he answered hoarsely, inspection. Ningxi almost burst into laughter. Inspection? Is this how you inspect? Once you sit there, who can act undisturbed? Professionalism, the man uttered 2 more words. Are you implying that I'm not professional? Damn it. Alright. I admit I'm not very professional today, but, next time, I absolutely will be. Moreover, if that was an inspection, what are you doing now? Ningxi asked, each word emphasized. Holding her tightly as if he had just snatched back a beloved toy from someone else, Lu Tingxiao remained silent. At this moment, Ningxi's heart was in turmoil. All the dark emotions she had deliberately suppressed surged forth, forcing her to confront them, forcing her to make decisions. After what felt like an eternity, when she was almost drowned in the man's warmth like a sun, she finally regained her clarity. She took a deep breath and said, Lu Tingxiao, you gave me 7 days, but you don't need to wait that long. I can tell you now. I don't want to hear it. Lu Tingxiao's expression tightened, immediately attempting to kiss her again, trying to prevent her from saying what she was about to say. With a touch of helplessness in her eyebrows, Ningxi turned her head to avoid his lips. Lu Tingxiao, listen to me carefully. Afraid that she might hesitate, Ningxi closed her eyes, then looked at him and spoke in one breath. Lu Tingxiao, actually, I told you from the beginning that I already have someone I like, very much. Extremely. Absolutely no one can replace him. There's no room for anyone else, no matter how good or perfect that person may be. Do you understand? With each word from Ningxi, Lu Tingxiao's spine stiffened into a straight line. The icy gaze in his eyes covered everything like a snowstorm. He forcefully pinched her chin. Lies. Ningxi, you're lying. Ningxi raised 2 fingers, looking at him with clear eyes. I swear, if I lie, I'll never succeed in my life. I'll be struck by lightning whenever I step out, hit by a car. Shut up. Unable to endure any longer, Lu Tingxiao pushed the door open and rushed out. Listening to the footsteps of the man leaving, Ningxi felt almost drained. Yes. Ningxi, you didn't do anything wrong. It should have been like this a long time ago. Your greed lasted too long. Your indecision lasted too long. When Ningxi finally recovered and walked out, she unexpectedly saw someone leaning against the wall, quietly standing there. Holding a cigarette that had burned to its end, he seemed to have been there for a while. Jiong Mai. Ningxi's expression froze for a moment. Jiong Mai exhaled a long puff of smoke, lowered his gaze, and chuckled softly. The person you were talking about, the one you said you very, very, very much like and can't be replaced by anyone else, is Lu Tingxiao, right? Heh, it's rare for Lu Tingxiao to be smart, yet he's made such a foolish mistake in this matter. Ningxi remained silent, not saying anything. Jiong Mai turned his head slightly and quietly looked at Ningxi. Clearly, it was you who rejected him, yet you look even worse now. He hadn't seen her like this for a long time. The only other time was during some Memorial Day. At that time, she seemed similar to now, as if she were wrapped in a dark swamp with no light or vitality. Jiong Mai suddenly didn't know what to say. Feeling irritated, he lit another cigarette. When he heard that Ningxi had rejected Lu Tingxiao, he felt no joy at all. Instead, there was a desolate feeling, like the sorrow of a fox mourning the death of a rabbit. He knew that Ningxi had completely fallen for Lu Tingxiao. But, if even Lu Tingxiao couldn't succeed, what was he, a wimp who couldn't even say the word like? Jiong Mai sighed and finally said the words that had lingered in his heart for a long time. Ningxi, you don't have to be like this. If you really like him, just be together. As soon as he spoke, he felt a sense of relief. Ningxi forced a bitter smile. Jiong Mai, weren't you the most opposed to it before? Jiong Mai raised an eyebrow, speaking casually. I was against it because I didn't want you to be my big sister-in-law. But you're still my bro, and I hope you can be happy. At this point, he looked at her seriously. Ningxi, I didn't believe Lu Tingxiao's sincerity before, but now, as long as he genuinely likes you, he won't care about your identity, status, or profession. He'll have the ability to protect you and prevent you from suffering. Ningxi's expression gradually darkened. Jiong Mai, you don't need to say more. How nice would it be if it were just about identity, status, or profession? Whether it was identity, status, or profession, as long as she was alive, she could change it. But what about the things that had already happened in the past? How could she change what had already occurred? How could she change the fact that she had been violated 5 years ago and gave birth to an illegitimate child?